Hi, it's Kate with the Thaiger, and you're watching Thailand Top Stories, today's major news in Thailand and Southeast Asia. Stay tuned for a quick update on the COVID-19 situation in Thailand, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. A report from the New York Times says Thailand's Phuket Sandbox quarantine island experiment is showing modest results, and some life is starting to return to the tourism industry. The program started on July 1st and allows vaccinated travelers from overseas to roam freely on the island for 14 days rather than going through quarantine at a hotel or facility. Over the past 3 months, it has drawn in about 41,000 people. The Times says it's far short of the government's goal of 100,000 people in the first 90 days. And most of the people entering under the sandbox have been residents returning from overseas, not tourists. While there aren't many tourists entering under the scheme, especially when compared to the millions of international arrivals in 2019, some say the sandbox scheme is better than nothing. Street life in popular nightlife districts in Phuket seem to be picking back up, and some venues have gone against rules prohibiting alcohol, serving booze anyways in paper or plastic cups. Police are seeking court approval to extend the detention of the sexual assault suspect who allegedly beat and raped a Thai masseuse. A local police chief says officers want to detain the American for another 12 days due to concerns that the man might try to flee. 37-year-old Robert Gordon faces charges for allegedly sexually abusing and raping a 45-year-old woman at a massage shop last week. She was found bloody and naked on the floor. The same day, he allegedly molested a 13-year-old girl. He allegedly told police that he was high on drugs and not in the right state of mind. A 63-year-old Swiss man was arrested for allegedly beating a Thai man to death. Police say the Swiss national told officers the man had come to his home, pointed a gun at his head, and demanded money. Officers say he confessed to beating the man but did not intend to kill him, adding that he acted out of self-defense. Police were called to the Swiss man's home in Udon Thani just after midnight on Sunday and found a 53-year-old man's body in the kitchen. A report from Pattaya News says the Thai man's hands and feet were tied up with rope, and his face had several wounds and bruises. Medical examiners at a local hospital will do an autopsy to determine the cause of death. After floods inundated hundreds of thousands of homes in more than 30 provinces in Thailand, according to the Associated Press, officials say the widespread flooding in Thailand is showing signs of easing. However, there are already forecasts of another storm that could affect Thailand from next week. AP News reports that so far 8 people have been killed by the floods, with 1 woman still missing. And here are the top headlines in Southeast Asia. In the Philippines, Reuters reports that an investigation by the government found that 154 police officers could be criminally liable over their conduct in the president's bloody war on drugs. The findings were announced just a few weeks after the International Criminal Court approved an investigation into the thousands of killings of alleged drug dealers in the president's drug crackdown. The Philippines government says it will not cooperate with the international investigation. In Singapore, the country passed a foreign interference law allowing authorities to block internet content. AFP reports that the law is aimed at preventing foreign interference in domestic politics. The opposition and activists have criticized the law, saying it is a tool to crush dissent. In Malaysia, 11 endangered turtles were found slaughtered off the country's region of Borneo Island. According to a report by AFP, wildlife officials suspect an indigenous sea-dwelling community targeted the turtles for food, and a stove, knife, and what appeared to be turtle meat was found at the scene. Those who kill protected sea turtles in Malaysia can face jail time. In Indonesia, the airport at the popular resort island of Bali is set to reopen for international flights on October 14th, according to the Associated Press. The airport has reportedly been closed to international arrivals for more than a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All overseas arrivals must show proof of hotel bookings for a mandatory 8-day quarantine. And now for an update on the COVID-19 situation in Thailand. Today, October 5th, the CCSA reported 9,869 new COVID-19 cases and 92 coronavirus-related deaths. Since April 1st, in the latest wave of the virus in Thailand, the CCSA has reported 1,628,368 confirmed COVID-19 cases. In the 24-hour period since the last count, the CCSA has reported 11,152 recoveries. There are now 108,373 people currently being treated for COVID-19 in Thailand. And that wraps up the COVID-19 update. For more news on Thailand, go to thetiger.com or check out our evening show, Thailand News Today.